Hello there, it's Jaymz B. Welcome to my vodcast. It is Friday, February 7th. Happy February. Valentine's Day coming up. Got a few of those listings, but let's get into this week after a couple of quick thank yous. Thank you to barberfinancial.com. Captain Paul and Associates, they will look after you if you have financial needs. You could always just check their website, ask them a few questions, and he'll get right back to you. Tell him you know me. Also, Barbarian Steakhouse, it is so delicious in there. I was just there doing an interview. It'll be up in a few weeks from now, but I love hosting interviews at Barbarian's. The food is great, the ambience is great, the drinks are great. Everything about that place is just wonderful. And of course, Patreon, the people who have been donating on Patreon, man, that means a lot to me. I know you don't have to, but every $5 or $10 US that you donate per month really helps me get this thing done. And a big thank you to Jason Brown. He's my producer, and he is an amazing guy. And without him, I probably wouldn't be doing this. All right, so there we go. Now let's get to the four clubs I'm going to talk about, and starting with Hugh's room, because tonight Russell Malone is in town from the US. One of the world's great guitarists. New record called All About Melody on High Note Records. $70 cover, 70. But there's a reason. Because it's Russell Malone, and he's up from the U.S. 10 solo albums, Ron Carter, Diane Reeves, Sonny Rollins, so many amazing musicians he has worked with over the years. So that's tonight, $70 at the door. J.P. Cormier is there tomorrow. Whether you like his sounds of Cape Breton or Nashville or Toronto, this guy is a storyteller. He's a great guitarist, multi-instrumentalist, just a fascinating guy, and he's there on Sunday. Thursday, it's Red Zeppelin. They're a very famous Zeppelin tribute band that travel around. Female singer in charge of it is just incredible. The guitar player is Waylon. I've only seen them once, but they blew my mind, and they are there on Thursday. And Valentine's Day on the 14th, Craig Cardiff, the Canadian singer-songwriter, will be around. All right, so there's a whole bunch of interesting things to do. At Home Smith Bar, Old Mill Inn, Canadian Jazz Quartet with Danny McErlane, fabulous piano player, sitting in with the Canadian Jazz Quartet. They always jam the room every first Friday of every month. CJQ are in there, so get down there early. Get down there at like 6:30, 7 o'clock if you want to get a seat for the Canadian Jazz Quartet. No cover, $20 minimum, 7:30 to 10:30. Brian Blaines brings his Blues Campfire Jam. He's been doing this for a long time, very popular over there. And again, same thing, 7:30, no cover, spend $20, Bob's your uncle. Then Alana Bridgewater is there on the 12th. This is weird because she's super famous. I've seen her in TVs, movies, Soul Pepper Theater on stage, opening for Tony Bennett. She has a big, beautiful voice, and she doesn't really need a microphone in there, but she'll have one anyway. She's played with a great band, Thompson Egbo on piano, Scott Hunter on bass, and Allison Young on sax. This is going to be a great night. Alana Bridgewater. And then on the 13th, Thursday, Sophia Perlman and Adrian Ferrugia bring their jazz party back. They're very popular over there as well. Tip of the hat to Faye Olson for doing such a great job booking the music over at Home Smith Bar. Go to oldmilltoronto.com for all the information. Eric Alexander is in town. We got a lot going on tonight. This is at Jazz Bistro. The famous New York saxophonist is in town. He's with Bernie Sinensky Trio for 2 nights. So get your dinner reservations for that and be blown away by Eric Alexander. And on Sunday the 9th, I'm hosting a party with Todd Bruder at Jazz Bistro. It's the $5 Oscar party. So why not dress up, spend $5, go in for dinner, have a nice fancy dinner. Rob and Bob Scott will be playing the grand piano and the drums and having some fun before the show starts. And then during the show, we're watching TV together. We're voting on the things that we think deserve to win or that will win. We've got prizes. We're even looking for celebrity lookalikes. So it's going to be mayhem down there for $5. Come and watch the Oscars in a beautiful place. They have huge big screens everywhere, by the way. Danny Marks is there on Tuesday the 11th. Blues over at Jazz Bistro. Danny Marks from Jazz FM /Blues FM. He's been a host there for Wow, probably about 20 years by now. And he's going to be doing some blues. And on Wednesday, the 12th, David Rebell hosts his Jazz Jam once again. If you play instruments or just want to see some amazing people play, it's only $10. Tia Brasa is there on the 13th. Tia Brasa, I'm sure you know her, and if you don't, check out Shine, Cabin Fever. There's so many great videos that you can see from Tia Brasa. Go see her live. And then June Garber and Stu Mack are there on the 14th of February. June Garber and Stu Mack, and they're going to be doing love songs. It's going to be a beautiful thing. So check out jazzbistro.ca for all the listings. And finally, Lula Lounge tonight. Son de Lula, Chargon del Norte, and DJ Suave. That's two bands and a DJ. You're going to dance all night long. Ricky Franco and the P Crew Orchestra are there tomorrow night with DJ Velasquez. So either way, you're going to get lots of dancing on the weekend at Lula. And on Sunday, a book launch, Reflections on Black Lives Matter in Canada. It's called Until We Are Free. So there's a book launch from 12 to 3, and then from 5 till 10, Songs from the Heart, R&B, and poetry. I tell you, you could just stay at Lula all day on Sunday. The 13th, I'm going to be involved in a show there. It's called A Tiki Love Affair. The Tiki Collective are playing. That means DJ Swankenstein is on the turntables playing really cool music. And then a concert from Tiki Collective with Genevieve Marentet, Jessica Lalonde, Irene Torres, and my guest, Caity Gyorgy. She's coming up in a moment, and she is incredible. I suggest getting dinner reservations for Lula. You can also just walk up and try your luck there, but lula.ca to get reservations for the pre-Valentine's Day on the 13th. They also have a Valentine's Day show as well if you want to do a salsa Valentine. So check it all out, lula.ca. And now over to Caity Gyorgy, this young, adorable singer with an incredible voice, a good, big, beautiful heart. But the talent is what freaks me out. She sings. I've never heard anyone who reminds me of Anita O'Day and Doris Day. That doesn't even make sense. They're so different. But anyway, she's special. Let's go find out about her right now. Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Hey, before we do anything, I want to show our audience this.
Okay.
It's you!
It's me.
Okay, that is called A Lift a Day. Can you describe what that is on Instagram?
So Lift Today is my transcription account. So I don't do it every day anymore just because life and school is very busy. But I transcribe a solo, a jazz solo, like an instrumental solo. And with that solo, I will write it down on a piece of paper and I learn it and then I sing it along with the recording.
So how long does that take to do a lift from Charlie Parker or Dizzy Gillespie or someone?
It used to take me a long time, but now I can do a Charlie Parker lift in about an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is, I wanted to start here because if people don't know who you are, this isn't just another talent contest winner. We're going to go to the beginning. When did you first figure out that you loved singing? How old were you and what was the music?
I don't know. I kind of always sort of sang, but I feel like the first thing I brought into a private lesson was Poker Face by Lady Gaga.
Cool.
Yeah, but I think I really fell in love with singing when I started singing the Beatles music, like "Oh Darling." It's like it was the tune where I found my voice, like my belt voice, and then it kind of just grew from there. And I got into a lot of soul and Motown and R&B and gospel.
And you are what? Are you at this point 10 years old, living in Calgary, something like that?
Probably like 14 at
Yeah?
this point. Yeah.
Cool. So teenage Calgarian into all kinds of music.
Yeah.
Did you see much live music as a kid? Was there anything that hit you?
I saw pop concerts that came through Calgary, like Katy Perry and Kesha and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. It wasn't until I really got into music myself that I bought my own tickets to things, and that's when I really became interested in live music.
Right. And so did you have private teachings before you moved to Toronto? Did you have private studies?
Yeah, I studied with this wonderful woman named Aaliyah King for years. She was amazing. She helped me really grow as a musician.
And did you play instruments at the same time? No? No? All of
Not
it singing.
really.
But the thing is, your voice, you are an instrument. Most jazz musicians would say, you're a jazz musician, you're not a chick singer, as they usually call them, right?
Yeah. I definitely consider myself to be an instrumentalist. Well, when I scat anyways, but I do love the ability of singing lyrics, which I have, like, and the instrumentalists don't, so that's good.
Right. Now, you came to Toronto. Did you came here specifically to go to Humber? Is that what happened?
I did.
And how did you hear about that?
I had friends in Calgary that were in Humber a year ahead of me, and they said it's a really good program, so I applied to Humber and McGill, and I liked the program at Humber. I think it suited me a little better than at McGill.
And when you got here, did you quickly make friends, or did you find this a bit of a hard town at first?
At school I made a lot of friends really quickly, but it took me a couple of years to get to know other people that were outside of Humber. But I think now I feel like I've made a bunch of friends outside of Humber, which is awesome.
Right. And what year? You're in year 4 now?
Yeah, 4th year.
So what has it been like for those first 3 years? Does it get easier? Does it get harder?
I think it really tests your ability to love music because you're doing a whole bunch of assignments and maybe you don't really want to do them. But I don't know. It's just really tough because I want to practice certain things, but I have to practice other things for school, and it's all about budgeting time and all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
But
And you also hold down jobs while you're in school.
yeah, I have a few jobs. I work part-time as a waitress. I work part-time at the Humber Gordon Ragg Recording Studios as a receptionist, and I give private lessons.
Wow.
Yeah.
So private lessons, how do you, as a young student yourself, I know you have a lot to impart. How do you do that?
Well, I set up my living room as my private studio, and I just kind of work on what the student wants to work on, because when I was taking private lessons as a kid, or when I was in high school even, I was doing a lot of choir stuff, and that was always like classical or like choral singing, and I really wanted to sing like the Beatles. So I would bring in my own music and work on it with my private lesson teacher, and she helped me develop my own belt and my personal voice, and so that's what I aim to do with my students as well.
You say your own belt?
Yeah, like my belting voice,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I used to be a very timid singer. I wouldn't really sing out just when I was a kid, I was really quiet all the time, and I wouldn't speak out or anything, and my parents would always say, stop mumbling, but now I love to talk, and so
Yeah.
I want to help my students find their own belt or their own voice.
Yeah. And what about the Calgary Stampede? You picked up the 2019 award, first place.
Yeah.
Tell us about that contest. I've asked you this on the radio before, but never here.
Yeah, the talent search was a lot of fun for me to do over the years. I won it after my 6th time competing and my last year of being eligible to compete, because you can't compete after you're 21. That's okay, because I fixed it and I won.
That's right.
Well, I didn't fix the.
I'm thinking like,
anything,
no,
but
I'm just thinking it's like a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Oscars. You got to give
Yeah.
this person an award. They won't be eligible.
Exactly, yeah. It's an awesome competition.
Right, because it's not just jazz singing.
No,
You're
and-
up against every kind of vocals there are.
Well, not just vocals, but there's like yo-yo, there's dancers, there's comedians, there's lots of bands, and there's musicians of all sorts. There's a wonderful accordion player named Michael Bridge who won it before, and he's from Calgary now, living in Toronto. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, a yo-yo guy won last year. Yeah.
You lost to a yo-yo last year?
Yes, but like it was pretty cool.
Okay. That sounds like a heck of a contest.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a variety show, but it's really interesting, and it's an amazing way to showcase local talent. But it's not just local. It's not just Calgary. It's like Canada-wide.
Right.
It's a national contest.
And Calgary Stampede, it's a huge venue too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Do you ever get nervous when you're going to go out to do a contest or a big show somewhere?
I guess not really shows, but the contest I was nervous about because I really wanted to win the prize, because as a student, don't have a ton of money, but so that was helpful to win 10 grand.
Whoa, that is a
Yeah.
great prize. You have been singing a bunch at Lula Lounge for Jazz FM shows for the
Yes.
vocal showcase.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
How do you describe that to people who haven't been there?
Lula Lounge, well, honestly, I think any show you see at Lula Lounge is going to be incredible, but when you have incredible singers, like the ones that show up at the showcase or at the Tiki Collective shows, it's even better.
Yeah, I love that room so much.
It's incredible, and it's so fun to sing in that room, and I feel like whenever I sing in that room specifically, like, I'm having a lot more fun.
So tell us about the Tiki Collective. You get to play with Michael Davidson on vibraphone and George Kohler on bass and all these great guys. What songs will you be doing coming up?
Ooh, that's an excellent question. I'm singing a bunch of...
You keep going?
I'm singing a bunch of really cool songs, if I can remember them. I'm singing I'm Hip, which is a wonderful Blossom Dearie tune, and I'm singing... Oh, I can't even...
I was thinking, it wasn't Moonlight in Vermont.
Moonlight in Vermont is when I'm singing at the
vocal
Safari.
showcase, yeah.
Yes.
And a couple others. But when you sing an Approach a Love song, how do you do it differently when you're playing with different groups, or is it kind of a version you already have your stamp on?
It depends on the song. Some tunes I've learned just from looking at a lead sheet, and so I've like figured out my own way of singing it. But there's others where I've learned it from Ella Fitzgerald or Sarah Vaughan singing it, so I take like inspiration from them. So it really depends on the song. With I'm Hip, I will definitely be taking a lot of inspiration from Blossom Dearie.
Yeah. So how old are you right now?
21.
21, and you're a pretty accomplished songwriter because your songs sound like old jazz standards.
Oh, thank you.
When did that hit you? When did you suddenly go, hey, I can write my own songs?
I don't know. I guess I've always liked to write songs, but I've always fell in love with the way the harmony and the lyrics are in standards. So I wrote a few standards before, and they were cute, but when I wrote my song Two Left Feet, that's when I really thought, I think I can, like, write songs like this. Like, I think that I could probably be a Tin Pan Alley writer if I wanted to.
Right. Well, congratulations on that, because I love your original music.
Thank you.
Maybe you'll do a couple at Lula Lounge.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Jaymz.
Thank you, Caity Gyorgy. Now, she was lovely, and I know you're going to go right out and buy her records and follow her career. Join me next week with another bombshell. Addie Braun is going to be here to talk about cabaret, opera, jazz, and everything else she loves. So come on back next week for Addie Braun. Until then, I'm James B. Thanks.